Hey guys, welcome to Chronicles of a Therapist. We have officially got to season 2. Thank you for being with us, for joining us for season 2. So today we are going to talk to Suniyah, right? I told you nothing.
Right.
All right, so, and we're just going to talk about her journey, her personal life journey. We're going to talk about her. She is now a certified fitness trainer.
Yes.
So we're going to let her talk about her journey and all of the things that she's working on. I actually met her through an old coworker of mine that we met and we worked together. And I just grown to love her and I got adopted into the family.
Yes.
So this is how our paths cross. And throughout our journey, she's always trying to give me clients. But that speaks volumes to an understanding of the importance of mental health. I said that she's a mental health advocate. So tell us who you are, what you do, and we'll go from there.
Okay. You want everything? You want the raw version of
I need
me?
the
You
raw.
want the nice version?
I don't need the nice. I need you to be raw. I need you to be you.
Okay, great. So my name is Suniyah L. I am a personal trainer, a fitness influencer, a personal development coach, and a mental health advocate. I've experienced a lot of trauma in my life, and man, through that trauma, oh my goodness, just if I could just like tell y'all like everything. I'm going to try to. This is not enough time, but after being molested at 9 years old, it was swept under the rug, and then I had to grow up in religion. So religion was forced on me. So honestly, it was scared into me. I was forced to believe certain things that really aren't true. I don't blame my family because they were teaching me what they knew.
Right.
So there's no blame or anything there, but I grew up in fear. I grew up in a lot of fear. And then my mom died when I was 19. So then I had to raise my 5 and 7-year-old sisters. So it's a lot of trauma that I've actually had to deal with. And through fitness, therapy, and a whole lot of spending time by myself, I have learned to heal by changing my mindset. So I don't know if I actually told you this. I know this is a scripture in the Bible, but I literally seriously been transformed. Literally by
your mind.
Seriously, I don't believe what I used to believe. I don't think the way I used to think. I am not who I used to be. And it's literally been like the best experience ever. So now I help Black women work through and release the negative beliefs in their minds so that they can heal and release all the, their dopeness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They need to know how dope they are. They need to know, especially our women, our people, period, just need to know that we're here on purpose and their purpose is dope. Like I said, I'm a mental health advocate. I own My Purpose is Dope Incorporated. It is a clothing line for suicide awareness. So I've attempted suicide 7 times in my life after going through what I went through, and just thought that after the 7th time, I decided to admit to myself, I got a problem. And I need help. And this prayer is just not working for me. So I need therapy. And I decided to go to therapy, and it completely changed my life and realized I have purpose.
That makes me so excited.
My purpose is dope.
It is dope. I think that, when we were talking last night, we were talking about trauma and church trauma and stuff like that. So just to know, like, even as a therapist, the situations and the things that I hear about people, knowing that, you've been through probably a lot of therapy, you've been through a whole bunch of stuff, and then you waking up and being like, I want to help other people.
Yeah.
And I think, one of the reasons I started this platform is that us Black folk don't talk about no kind of mental health, none of our traumas, all the stuff swept under the rug. So I think you being able to step out on your truth, and we talked yesterday just about you being real and raw, like this is what it is. And so even when you talk about, ironically, renewing of the mind is CBT, which CBT is cognitive behavioral therapy. So it's changing what we're thinking. And so while that's a biblical principle, that's what we do in therapy.
Right.
And so I love that you have merged what my emotions are feeling and being able to say, you know what, I'm going to be a trainer and a mental health advocate and a professional life development coach. So that, because a lot of people, even in therapy and in church, they struggle with that bridge.
Right.
What's the bridge? How are we getting okay, I've dealt with trauma, I'm depressed, I'm anxious. Pray about it. That doesn't always help.
There you go.
I had to clean that up.
Yeah.
But because I am spiritual just like you are, and so there's a connectedness to, whatever your higher power, if your spirituality,
Right.
it's a connection, because at the end of the day, it's what forms us and what we are connected to. And those of us
Definitely.
who don't have that, and what I've seen in my profession, those who don't have it, they struggle.
Gotcha.
They don't have a source. So even if you are depressed, even if you are wanting to commit suicide, whatever it is you got going on, there's an underlying hope that's there.
Definitely.
And so I love that you have found your place. And I think part of our life journey is, what is our purpose? What is our place? And so all of the trauma, all of the hurt that you've been through has now led you to, you know what, I want to help other Black people, especially Black women, because sometimes we don't necessarily have a voice because we're strong, and we gotta. You just said I had to raise
be
my
resilient.
and we got to pick it up.
Expect us to just keep on moving. It don't matter what happened to you. Just again, just
you figure it out.
Yeah, you're strong. You'll get over it.
Yeah.
Who says I want to? I don't. What if I don't want to get over it right now?
What if I want to stay stuck there?
Exactly. What if I want to sit in my feelings, which we are taught to do in therapy, instead of just making it seem like you don't have a problem. Sit in your feelings. Sit there and actually feel it.
Right. And be okay
and be okay with feeling what you're going through.
Yeah.
We're not taught that. Just move on.
Yeah.
Life just goes on. I get it, but I don't want to move on right now. Right. It took me 19 years to get over my mom's death. I didn't want to. Well, I didn't know how to. Actually, she was my best friend. Depression doesn't exist, in the Black community. There's no such thing as depression.
At all.
You tell your parents you're depressed, I'm gonna depress you and whoop your butt, or I'm gonna depress them dishes in the kitchen.
Right.
It's always a joke.
Right.
That's not funny.
Right.
Like, listen to your child, and then you wonder, 2 months later, why your child committed suicide. But they were just so happy. Are you sure about that?
They weren't happy. You weren't listening.
Right. You weren't paying attention. They told you they were depressed, but you thought it was a joke, or you thought they just didn't want to go to school.
They wanted attention.
Or you're just looking for attention. No, it's real. It's serious, and you need to pay attention and listen.
Yeah.
It's hard in this community because, again, we've been raised, we've been taught to only think one way. We're not allowed to go over here into this lane. Let's see how this lane feels. No. Well, let's see how this lane feels since this one isn't working for me. No, we have to stay in that one lane that we've been taught and not change our minds at all. We're not allowed to change. You've changed. And?
Right.
What's your point?
Right.
Thank you very much for noticing that I've changed. They make it seem like it's a bad thing that I've changed. I'm supposed to. It's called evolving.
Right.
It's called growth. I'm supposed to. I can't stay a caterpillar for the rest of my life. I eventually got to become a butterfly. I can't just be all slow for the rest of my life. I want to eventually fly.
Right.
So it's just something that really just, I don't know. I like this. I like that we're normalizing our conversation about therapy, and I can't wait for that to be in our communities.
Yeah, I think the biggest struggle that I've found is that a lot of people don't see people who look like them in therapy. And so there is that cultural thing where if I'm sitting next to another Black person, there are certain things that you just kind of are like unspoken that you don't have to talk about. And anybody who's been in the helping profession, I mean, if you go to the hospital, you're going to have biases. If you have a Black nurse versus a white nurse versus a Black doctor you're going to have those biases just because there's a level of professionalism and you're supposed to. So I think that having these conversations, and that's what made me want to do the podcast, because now it's, oh, wow, I never thought about that. Yeah, this is stuff that we all thinking and experience. And it's
You're not the only person that thinks that way either.
Right.
Like you said, it is okay. And I never thought about that. Well, now you can. I just put that thought in your mind. Now you can think about it.
Right.
And it's okay to think different, to be different.
Right.
Again, change is wonderful. And I think that's why, because they're stuck in that mode that, change is a bad thing, or some of them are just comfortable and they're afraid of change. They're afraid of what they're going to see on the other side of change.
It's a fear thing. And you talked about fear. Part of the struggles with growing is, I don't know what that looks like.
Right.
And a lot of times, even in our community, we have these unspoken ideas of what things look like.
Yeah.
But in real life, it's still a fear because, well, I can't do this because what?
Right.
So why not work through stuff? Why not be okay to sit in that intense emotion
Right.
and ride the wave and be like, okay, all right, so I'm hurt. All right, so what I'm going to do with that? I'm going to feel because I'm a human. I'm not a robot. And I think sometimes in our community, we don't normalize it being okay to feel whatever it is, whether it is depression, whether
it's not allowed.
At all, ever.
I don't understand that. Like, where did that come from, though? And where did it start? Like, I'm a human. Why am I not allowed to feel?
Right.
So you mean to tell me if you drop a something heavy on my foot, I'm not allowed to say ouch? Like, was I not supposed to feel that? It's just insane to me how I don't know.
But I think it does come back from, if you even think about slave days, that was our resilience. That was our way to
be strong,
to survive.
Fight. Yep, you're right.
So on some levels, I think we as a culture have learned to turn in and not focus on what's real, our emotions and what's going on, because, all right, it's either be pissed off because this is happening and die.
Yeah.
Or, all right, I'm just trying to ride it out. So I think it is one of those things that we as a culture, whether we believe it or not, it's just been passed down. And so I'm glad that now there are people who look like you in the profession. There are you can work out. There are, I have a lot of clients that I tell them there's so many studies that show you anxiety and depression, go work out.
Yeah. It's my medication.
And I love every time you post, I'm in therapy when you're at the gym, because it literally, it's a chemical.
It is.
More than people realize, like, it's literally your brain rewiring.
It is. And you're also showing yourself how strong you really are. There's some people who feel like they can't lift heavy. Women shouldn't lift heavy. Sure. Watch me lift. Watch me squat this 300 pounds. Watch me do what I always thought that I couldn't do. I wasn't allowed to do. And it shows you, that person in the mirror, that while you're working out, like, I really can do this. Yep. It gives you confidence. And that's what Release the Dope is. My other business, we're releasing dopamine, physically. I need you to move your body. Right. You don't have no motivation? Cool. Let's move,
Go for a walk.
Go for a walk. Go hula hoop. Go get a jump rope. Go dance. Just put some music on and just dance. Literally go crazy and just move your body. So you're releasing dopamine from your brain. But then the other side of dope, where we're told when we were younger to stay, don't do drugs, and dope was a bad thing, So the bad part of, dope is the anger, the hurt, the pain, your past, whatever is holding you back. I need you to release it. So you're releasing, physically, like I said, in my program, you're releasing dopamine, but the mental and the emotional, you're releasing everything that no longer serves you.
Right.
And I
love this.
I don't know. I wish that we all can, I don't know, get in a circle and sing Kumbaya, but I don't know. I can't wait. I just hope I'm here for that day where we are literally having conversations about our therapy sessions, especially our men. I could just imagine just a minute in a group and be like, dude, let me tell you what my therapist said today. Let me tell you what I'm going through and experiencing, and be able to trust each other with that. Same thing with marriages. I mean, I know there's a lot of men out there who struggle because the woman just doesn't understand. And sometimes she's just, everything is about her, and she's not paying attention to his feelings.
Right.
Like, honey, it's about you guys. Yeah. If he's not okay, then you shouldn't be okay. You know, and then if you're not okay, then the kids aren't okay. And the kids ain't okay, the whole house isn't okay. Yep. So, I mean, from him on down, he should be okay first. Right. And we just need that. I really can't wait for therapy to just become the norm. But I'm headed to my therapy session. Girl, me too. I'll see you later.
I have I've worked with various populations, we'll say that. And so I actually had a Black man who has experienced, he's been incarcerated, he's probably seen people shot, stabbed, probably killed. And so he got to a point, and I was talking to him, I'm like, well, yeah, you got nightmares because you got trauma. Yeah. You got a whole bunch of trauma.
Definitely.
He's like, I never thought about that. I'm like, yeah, you got guilt and trauma resting on you. And so after I talked to him, he was like, I work at a treatment center. He was like, he pulled one of his friends, like, you got to talk to her. And I'm like, so those are those moments that it's not just because I'm a therapist, but I was able to just hold space with somebody.
Right.
And so how I break it down as a therapist is, even you being an advocate, it's, let me tell you how it was for me, because a lot of people have this idea of what it looks like.
Mhm.
Like I have a lot of people who are like, okay, well, I can't say that, or I can't. Hey,
Why?
do what you need to do.
Right.
You know, like this is your space.
Mhm.
So for me as a therapist, I'm licensed to do all of those things. But for me, it's just holding space for people. And some of that
Definitely.
space might just be, man, my girlfriend, I'm about to, or it could be, I'm holding grief and loss and,
Yes.
and trauma. Whatever that space is,
Mhm.
like you said, even our Black men don't have a place to do that where they
Right.
can be vulnerable. And so that's why I do this.
That's good. I mean, and I can't wait for that vulnerability to come out and it be just normalized without them looking weak. You know, like it's not a weakness. I ain't gonna lie. I love when a man cry. It is so attractive. I'd be
It
like, oh my gosh,
absolutely
he's so
is.
fine.
Yep.
I know Will Smith is not the finest man in the world, but when he cry, I just be like, man, he's so fine.
Listen, Will Smith be going through it. But so tell me because I know you have children. How has your newfound awakening or experience, how does that affect how you parent, how you raise your kids? Like, how does that, like, how do you transpire the things that, you know, because we all grew up with how we were raised.
Right.
So how do you?
Oh gosh. So they started out in church. So I'm 39, they're 15. So about 4 years ago, they were 11 when I stopped going to church. So actually for 11 years, they actually had that also. I did allow for the indoctrination to be onto them as well. But they're like, they just go with the flow. So my daughters aren't normal. I always say that. I be feeling like they were switched at birth. Somebody took my twins and gave me theirs because my daughters they're respectful. I don't have to worry about them. They've never gotten smart with me. They're 15. They don't, well, why I got to do this, mommy? They don't talk back. Whatever I tell them to do, they do. And I just be like, I hope this doesn't change. I just be feeling like, please don't do this to me at 18 years old. All of a sudden, this crazy personality comes out. I'm like, oh my gosh, who the heck are you children? But they just go with the flow. Whatever mommy does, they're like, okay, mommy. Okay, mommy. Okay, mommy. No, but it's a good thing that they respect me like that, but it's also scary because I don't need them to be Imani from Coming to America, whatever you like, you know. Right. No, honey, I need you to have a mind of your own. Right. So sometimes I want them to get smart with me because it lets me know that they're thinking for themselves. So it kind of scares me. But then again, I'm thinking, you know, eventually they'll come out of their little shells, but they just go with the flow. They are, you know, what they are. I've asked them, you know, how do they feel and what do they think? So they do have questions as well. Like, okay, but where is Jesus? And, you know, and what does he really look like? Because is that him in that picture, mommy? You know, like, so, no, it's not, you know, and they've asked what exactly is God? They've asked that question.
Oh, so they give
I don't know.
Listen, so you might want to just want the okays and the yeses because they hitting you with heavy stuff.
Yeah, they be. I'm like, oh gosh. So when I was younger, like I would let them know. I thought God was King Triton and the Little Mermaid's daddy, up in the clouds or whatever. And I used to think that the devil looked like the guy from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, the mean red guy. I had a crazy imagination, and I'm like, I don't know, sweetheart. I just explained to them, when you make really good decisions, that is the God in you. When you make stupid, dumb, bad decisions, that is the devil in you. I just feel like we have both in us. And like, again, when they get older and they'll figure it out for themselves. But I just no longer, I couldn't force it on them anymore. I even stopped, when they were about 3, I stopped Christmas. And I like, okay, this is stupid. Why am I spending all this money? They're 3 and they still play with boxes. I think this is insane. Like, why in the world am I spending all this money? And then their father, his girlfriend, her father, their father, his family, his girlfriend, her family, and then their aunts and uncles all buying them things. And I'm like, but so why am I? They don't need all this stuff. Y'all go ahead and buy them all the Christmas stuff, and I'm gonna continue to take care of the household. You know, I got to pay the bills. I got to buy their clothes every year for school. And there's other things I have to do with my money. Y'all go ahead. And I didn't make them stop celebrating Christmas. I no longer did it in my household, but when they were with their father, I don't mind. Right. It's up to them. They're 3, 4. They don't know.
Right.
Let them go and do what they do. Just at my house, you won't be seeing no tree, no lights. I'm not taking it down. I left a tree up for a whole year one time because I didn't feel like taking it down.
I did that too.
I don't want to. And that was the last time. I'm thinking like this, you know, I learned about the pagans and all that stuff. Listen here. I feel like the only real holiday is my birthday. So I don't celebrate holidays. And, you know, I celebrate my daughters on their birthday, and I'm thinking like, but why do I need to celebrate them on Christmas? Whosever birthday that is, that's their birthday. Let them celebrate it. And if it's Jesus' birthday, then go. Let him celebrate his own birthday. Right. It's not theirs. And so as they got older, they didn't trip. They didn't, I don't know, they just didn't trip or anything. Mm-hmm. I don't know. They just, like, again, they just go with the flow.
Right.
You know, so... Yeah, my daughters are like, I always tell my daughters are perfect. Nobody's perfect, but my daughters are perfect.
Yeah. So what I will say with your daughters is just give them the space. It sounds like y'all have been through a lot as a family. And so if you give them the opportunity, I feel like the parents who have been very honest about life and haven't kept their kids in a bubble have a better relationship with their kids.
Definitely.
And so that's what it sounds like. And trust me, at some point, they gonna open up.
Girl.
You're gonna be calling me like, can you please?
Right. I'm gonna need your help, girl.
Right.
I actually did make them go to therapy. They were about 12. And I mean, they ended up getting their separate rooms. So they finally at 12 years old, okay, mommy, we want separate rooms. There's this whole room in my house that nobody's using. They decided to stay in this room. And I'm like, you want separate rooms yet? No, we're good, Mom. Oh, okay. So at 12, they finally decided to get separate rooms, and they just would shut their doors and just be in their rooms all day. And I'm like, okay, is this a teenager thing or is there something wrong? Yeah. You know, some people just sweep it, you know, under the rug like, oh, they're just normal teenagers, especially when girls start to get disrespectful and have those, talking back. Oh, they're just being a typical teenager. No, because that was me after my molestation. I was angry. I was looking for attention. I was disrespectful. So you got to be careful to just don't assume that they're just normal teenagers. Right. No, ask them if they're okay. Did something happen? Did someone touch you? But I had to ask my daughters that, no, Mommy, we're good. We just like being in our room. Okay, sure. So I actually did get them therapy just to make sure that my depression did not fall onto them.
That's good.
And to make sure that they're really not going through anything. Maybe they just don't want to talk to me about it. And that's okay. Let me get them a therapist. The therapist is like, they're just teenagers. And I'm like, that's okay, good.
Because a lot of people who struggle with mental health and are parenting or in relationships, they don't know what to do with that.
Right. Yeah.
So, well, you got let people know how they can find you.
Okay.
Give them updates on where to find you, what you're doing, if you're doing conferences and all those things.
So I always laugh at this because I have 3 pages on Instagram and I give them everything. So you can find me at Suniyah Mental Fit. That is that's my personal training page. And then my clothing brand here, which is a nonprofit organization as well, it is My Purpose is Dope, Inc. And then my mental health mindset program is Release the Dope. So those 3 ways on Instagram. And then my name is Suniyah L on Facebook. And you can also email me at wellness@releasethedope.com.
Thank you so much for sitting with me and having this conversation.
You're welcome.
And that's all I got for you guys. Thank you for joining season 2, first episode. And I will catch you guys later. Thanks, guys.
See you.